Brilliance Audio presents the unabridged recording of Self Comes to Mind, Constructing the Conscious Brain by Antonio Damasio, performed by Fred Stella. For Hannah. My soul is like a hidden orchestra. I do not know which instruments grind and play away inside me, strings and harps, timbales and drums. I can only recognize myself as a symphony. Fernando Pessoa, The Book of Disquiet. What I cannot build, I cannot understand. Richard Feynman. Part 1. Starting over. Chapter 1. Awakening. When I woke up, we were descending. I had been asleep long enough to miss the announcements about the landing and the weather. I had not been aware of myself or my surroundings. I had been unconscious. Few things about our biology are as seemingly trivial as this commodity known as consciousness, the phenomenal ability that consists of having a mind equipped with an owner, a protagonist for one's existence, a self inspecting the world inside and around, an agent seemingly ready for action. Consciousness is not merely wakefulness. When I woke up 2 brief paragraphs ago, I did not look around vacantly, taking in the sights and the sounds as if my awake mind belonged to no one. On the contrary, I knew almost instantly, with little hesitation if any, without effort, that this was me sitting on an airplane, my flying identity coming home to Los Angeles with a long to-do list before the day would be over, aware of an odd combination of travel fatigue and enthusiasm for what was ahead, curious about the runway we would be landing on, and attentive to the adjustments of engine power that were bringing us to Earth. No doubt, being awake was indispensable to this state, but wakefulness was hardly its main feature. What was that main feature? The fact that the myriad contents displayed in my mind, regardless of how vivid or well-ordered, connected with me, the proprietor of my mind, through invisible strings that brought those contents together in the forward-moving feast we call self. And, no less important, the fact that the connection was felt. There was a feelingness to the experience of the connected me. Awakening meant having my temporarily absent mind returned, but with me in it, both property, the mind, and proprietor, me, accounted for. Awakening allowed me to re-emerge and survey my mental domains, the sky-wide projection of a magic movie, part documentary, and part fiction, otherwise known as the conscious human mind. We all have free access to consciousness, bubbling so easily and abundantly in our minds that without hesitation or apprehension, we let it be turned off every night when we go to sleep, and allow it to return every morning when the alarm clock rings, at least 365 times a year, not counting naps. And yet few things about our beings are as remarkable, foundational, and seemingly mysterious as consciousness. Without consciousness, that is, a mind endowed with subjectivity, you would have no way of knowing that you exist, let alone know who you are and what you think. Had subjectivity not begun, even if very modestly at first, in living creatures far simpler than we are, memory and reasoning are not likely to have expanded in the prodigious way they did, and the evolutionary road for language and the elaborate human version of consciousness we now possess would not have been paved. Creativity would not have flourished. There would have been no song, no painting, and no literature. Love would never have been love, just sex. Friendship would have been mere cooperative convenience. Pain would never have become suffering. Not a bad thing, come to think of it, but an equivocal advantage given that pleasure would not have become bliss either. Had subjectivity not made its radical appearance, there would have been no knowing and no one to take notice, and consequently there would have been no history of what creatures did through the ages, no culture at all. Although I have not yet provided a working definition of consciousness, I hope I am leaving no doubt as to what it means not to have consciousness. In the absence of consciousness, the personal view is suspended. We do not know of our existence, and we do not know that anything